Welcome back, Professor Ronald Davis here. Deep tissue, anterior, supine, upper body, arms, neck, focus here. Here you see starting some focus in the hand. And the hand is very significant. It's a lot of points and a lot of uh, tension that the hand goes through. Um, as I transition here to double C's and knuckles on the flexors and extensors of the forearm. Take your time here. As you can see, some good double C's where I'm able to grasp and rotate around both the flexors and extensors. Um, Anterior part of the arm don't really require a lot of pressure, but nevertheless, we still can use deep pressure on the arms. Next, you see me transitioning here to some ironing and some presses with my knuckles. And you see me trying to post one hand on that elbow to kind of control that arm while I use the knuckles to kind of do some stripping of the forearm area. Here we have some good hold of that brachioradialis and the brachials in the forearm. That's very good technique to use as we use our extensors and our flexors in our forearm all the time. Now I'm transitioning to some ironing with the knife with the backside of my hand, my thenar. Remember that deep tissue pressure is not always about tempo and pace, but about intention and about steady control and application. Alrighty, transitioning now here to on the shaft. And we don't have much surface to work with here, but we can use our shaft of our owner to apply some technique here. Remember, be in control and take your time. Be aware of the bony landmarks of the forearm, which is the olecranon and the radial and the ulnar shaft. Um, be sure to avoid those. Here you see me working a pointer of my elbow on that brachioradialis right there. Again, you commonly find some trigger points and some tension points in that area. But again, this is not an area where we're going to be doing a lot of movement. You got to make sure that you are precise with your anatomy and your application of your palpation when applying these techniques. Here you see, just because I'm using a point, I can still work some cross friction. Here you see transition into some anterior delt holds with that thumb, and then warming up with some nice effleurides as we begin to transition to the upper arm, doing some double C's, kind of doing some rolling transverse over the bicep, over the tricep area, then working to the delt area, and then going into some double fists along to stripping of the bicep and into the delts, middle delts. You can see here my pace and my tempo is very intentional. I wouldn't say it's fast or as slow. And then you can see I'm actually working on, um, look like an adhesion I'm working on releasing here in the anterior delt, which is pretty common with most of us as humans, as we are mostly forward rolled and our shoulders compressing and shortening up that anterior delt. So it's important to release that. And here you can see I'm using some good isolation work with my knuckles. Here's a good transition hold of the bicep, just holding, isolating that belly, which is a good little. You can see me good little rocking back and forth, which is good comforting for the client while you're still doing some deep work, because just isolating that bicep could be a little bit tense for some. And here you see me working on that deltoid point, on that insertion right in that area. Here you see me transition into a knife. Just working on the same muscles, just with a different technique. Here you see me got a little more emphasis on that tricep and roll into a palm and then a knuckle of the tricep. It's really good work, good mixture of techniques, and a good speed and tempo, intention, allowing you to be able to work into the fibers and into the deeper layer, but also allowing the client to adjust. And here I'm transitioning to the owner shaft. Same intention, same flow, just giving you multiple variations of tools to be able to use in this area. Just because you're doing deep tissue don't mean that you can flow. And I think this is a good example right here of seeing good technique, good depth, but also a good rhythm and a good flow. And you see some adhesion trigger work right here again on that anterior delt with that point of Lecaron right in that anterior region. Remember, when you find a good area to work in, don't rush. Just stay in that area and work that area. No sense of, working the, entire arm, and you have already identified an area that needs more attention. Work in that area and be confident in that area. You see, you transition to abducting that arm and really working into the pec area, pec major and minor. You see a nice hold of those pecs, and you see me kind of showing the class how to locate it, but then also do a nice hold of the pec group. It's kind of similar, associated with that anterior delt, because we have so much forward rotation. A lot of things we do, we always kind of constrict that anterior delt. This is a nice hold right here. You see me transition, putting that point right into that pec group, and then doing some interior and exterior rotation of the arm, which is good isolation work, good passive range of motion with compression of that pec group. It's a good tool right here to put in your toolbox. Again, you can see me rolling over a knot, over an adhesion right in her pec group. Just focus in that area.